Hey everybody, this is Matt and we're at Texas Toast Guitars. Thanks for watching. So the other day, we were doing a podcast and I said that if we got to 10,000 subs, or that when we got to 10,000 subs, I would do another EBO bass video. And we got to over 10,000 subs this week on YouTube. And thank you for everybody who subscribed and has supported me and supported the channel and made this be something cool and something bigger than me. And so again, thanks for all your help. But enough with the bullshit talk about that. What you really want to see is another EBO bass video. So today I have my neck, and you will notice that it is still not attached to the body. We've been doing a lot of work on the body lately. Well, lately is a relative term, but in the past we've done concentrated mostly on the body. But today we're going to talk about the neck. Now, we've already pulled the frets and I've already cleaned up the fretboard. One thing I want to tell you guys about when you're messing around with old guitars, the tendency to try and grind this down to where it looks perfect is usually, it's what everybody wants to do. That's what the temptation is. But let me give you heed my advice if you please. The less stuff you do to the fretboard, the better. The less you monkey with it, the better. So that's going to mean if you've got some like big dings or divots, sometimes those are just going to have to be there, but clean it up as best as you can and then leave it alone. So rant off. So what we're going to talk about today is the headstock. Now, you see how it kind of says Gibson and it kind of doesn't? It kind of says bubmum. Okay, so the reason that is, but you can still see, dig the pearl that is in there. So I'm sorry I'm leaning over the bench to do this, but you can dig that right here. You can actually see a big chunk of the pearl. Well, so what Gibson used to do back in the olden days was, well, they did a couple things. Used to be what they would do is they would take a big block out and take the Gibson logo in pearl and mash it in there with black epoxy and then paint up to that. And that would be a way you could do it. But what they started doing, this is a 60s bass, so clearly what they did in part of the 60s was they kind of did the reverse. So they have a great big block of pearl, and then they put a stencil that said Gibson, a negative image of the, or actually a positive image of the Gibson logo, and then they would paint it, and then they'd peel the stencil back, and it would say Gibson, and it would be pearl. Same with the little fleur-de-lis thing there in the middle, or whatever that dealy wampus is. Anyway, so because so much of the paint has come off of this, and because we're restoring it, we have to grind this all back, locate a Gibson decal, which should not be that tricky, and repaint the whole thing. Now, one thing I want you to see, notice how the eye doesn't have a dot on it? This is a dotless Gibson, and what used to be what they would do is they would put a little like a side dot in there for the dot over the eye. Mrs. Toast could probably tell me what the dot over the eye is called. As a matter of fact, I know she can, but she's not here right now. So we're going to sand this guy back. Now, I'm gonna come around there real quick. I probably should have come around here earlier, but I want you to see how this is also really badly worn, and there's a bunch of damage in here. Right here, there's a big one. But right here, that's the main offender. We're gonna have to rebuild some of that stuff too. So, the first thing we're gonna do though is we're going to sand all the black off of this and get down to the nitty-gritty of this pearl area. And to do that, I'm gonna use 120. Okay, I've used a wrench, and I've removed the truss rod nut and the little half moon thing that the nut rides on from the truss rod access there. So, and I've got a block, and I've got some sandpaper, and what I have done here is I have folded the ends of the paper over such that when I put it in my block, it doesn't sag off the side because I want to keep the edges crisp and clean. So I got this big block of ash here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to work this like so. How's the best way to even hold this son of a bitch? Man, this is going to be a pain in the ass. All right, let's go. Ready? Just going to go fast. See all that yellow right there? That's clear coat. It's not really clear, it's yellow. So see what it says now? Hold on, I'm going to sand this just a little bit more, and then I'm going to show you guys what's going on. Okay, so as you can see, we've sanded off all of the finish from the face. The back and the sides and everything still have to be done. But dig this. See this board right here? This is definitely not mahogany. You can tell it's not mahogany just because how light it is. Gibson used to use holly. They used to use a veneer of holly. I don't know why they used holly. This might be holly. It might be maple. I'm not sure. But anyway, so they used to use holly. Let's just go ahead and say this might be holly. But you can see how, so what they've done here is they've just kind of, they came close to getting it, you know, to fit. But if this were the headstock logo, you'd kind of want it to be a little nicer than that. So what they started doing is that they would mask this off and they would paint it and then pull the mask off and it would look like $100 million. So that is exactly what we're going to do. Okay, let's go ahead and wrap this video up. I think we've done quite enough to the EBO for one day. And if you have been following me on the podcast, you know that it's crazy busy here. So projects like the EBO kind of take a back seat. I don't want to take too far of a back seat, but you guys know what I'm talking about. So in future videos, we're going to grind off all this old dead paint off the back. And to do that, we're going to be using the same technique, a block with sandpaper. For every place that we can, because the neck profile is round, we're going to be using this piece of foam. It's almost like flip-flop material. It's kind of squishy, but it bends and conforms to the workpiece. You know what I mean? So you can do this. So anyway, it's not a flip-flop, but it's kind of like a flip-flop. If you can't find a flip-flop, or if you can't find this foam rubber, just chew up your old lady's flip-flops, and that'll work too. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You know, over 10,000 people have done it, so you might as well be one of the cool kids and subscribe to the Texas Totes channel. If you appreciate content like this, you might want to go over to our Patreon page and consider becoming a member. Even $1 a month goes a long way to helping us bring you guys cool stuff like this. If you can't do Patreon, we totally get it. Please like or share this video on all the Insta, Google, Twitface things that you can, and that totally helps us grow the channel too. So, guys, until next time, this is Matt at Texas Totes reminding you that if you're so smart, build it yourself. That's what I do. Thanks for watching, everybody. Time to rally. Time to motherfucking rally.